can kind of burn me. But in the States, you are a genius. And a similar thing happened also in the States on my flight to Hawaii. The flight attendant did the same thing to me. I was like, oh, okay, this is my dream country. So I don't think my confidence level was built by myself. But throughout these experiences, I started to realize that there are people who look at me differently. But back at the time, I focus on others. I focus on how people look at me. I haven't started to learn how I look at myself. But thanks to them, I started to go back and review things that I can do. I don't take them for granted anymore. I started to think, okay, I can do this, and you can't. She can, he can't. Oh, so it's not something that just, show up out of nowhere. I do have certain abilities and certain skills that others probably cannot have. Then I started to learn to look at myself by myself. Then I started to gradually ignore how others see me. Then once I am in that kind of zone, I become this situation. I don't care what others think. I'm happy. And I know by my past experiences, what people think of me doesn't matter. Those who will like you, they will like you, no matter what you do. Those who do not like you, they don't like you, but they don't matter to me anyway. I had master level, when I was in master program, I had one Taiwanese professor in my department, Purdue. She said to my face that you are not made for PhD program. I don't think you can succeed. You might want to quit. And she said that to my mom too, when my mom went to the States and visited me. So I was totally crushed back then. Oh, so I'm not good enough for PhD program. So my master level advisor told me, because I told her, I said, so I really need your advice. Do you think that I should quit? Then my advisor said, who told you that? What? Just ignore them, they don't matter. You don't have to listen to anything. If I say you can, then you can. Then I said, okay, so people do have different ways of seeing things. So current situation comes from a lot of frustrations back then. And I really appreciate those experiences. If I never had frustrations, I wouldn't know. Yeah. Hope that helps you.
Thank you.
Yes?
I have a question because I saw your that being a professor, you have to face with like panic attack.
Oh, panic attack,
yeah,
yes.
Like during the class. And when you first became a professor, have you ever experienced feeling like the students are judging you and then you started to get panic attacks and like that?
I didn't catch the very last part. When I started to become a professor,
maybe like on the first day, or maybe like, when you first time became a professor, like have you ever experienced the feeling of the students are kind of like judging you for what you told them, and then you started to get panic attack? And if yes, then how do you deal with that?
treat them as their watermelons. Oh, that's actually a very good question. I never really felt judgmental. I don't feel that students try to evaluate or judge me until they wrote some kind of teaching feedback. But then still, I didn't really, that part somehow didn't bother me. Of course, students always have opinions about how teachers teach, how they deliver. The first year of my teaching, YZU student even wrote down, teachers, you can try to wear short skirts that can attract students' attention more. So that was a joke. To me, it's a joke. But I would say my stress and panic attack comes from my own standards. I have a picture of what a teacher or what a professor should be in class time. And if it's a 3-hour class, I don't allow myself to pause too much. The whole class has to flow well as a storytelling for the topic. So most of my stress comes from my own request. of what a good professor should be. Because of my professors before, I experienced good classes from my professors, so I took them as role models. But if we do have students, or especially E and B level classes, those who are much higher there, they sit back, in a classroom looking at you like this and start to talk about their own opinions, I just ignore them. I will say, oh, it's a very good question, a very good comment. Thank you for coming and listening. And I will talk to the other student. What do you think about those questions? Do you have answers? Then I will build up kind of like this. I will always respect my students regardless of their intention. And if they treat me negatively with certain purpose, I try to ignore. Because as a teacher, I cannot really fight back or anything. Do we feel hurt? Yes, we do. And I still have colleagues till today cried every single week of teaching. After teaching, the teachers break down because students keep challenging teachers every single week. So we still have that kind of fear. Which year, we don't know what kind of students they will team up to attack you. I still get prepared for that kind of situations. Yeah. But now I don't feel being judged anymore. My advisor used to tell me, they don't understand you and it's their fault. It's okay, I took it very seriously. They don't understand what you wrote, they're moron. Not your fault, their fault. It's okay. So I learned a lot from my advisor. He's very tough, very mean. Whatever he said hurts you so much, and I survived. So I am confident about myself. If I can survive him, I can survive anyone. Thank you for the question.
Thank you.
Any other question? We can be done by any time. Oh, yes.
So I want to ask, when you have the interview for your first job, you don't have a lot of experience in that kind of industry, so how can you persuade the manager like you can do that job well, and how to like improve your confidence when you have the interview with the manager?
Hang out with me, then you'll be more confident. One thing about interviewing for jobs is most of you have a more like a wrong expectations or understanding about interview for jobs. Your boss, your managers, HR people, they don't expect you to know how to do jobs. All those who have worked in industries knows you have to get your on-job trainings. That's why companies provide them. That's why they have HR department to design all the courses not to help their employees, to train their employees to work for them. So even if you have experiences, you know how to do jobs, your new company do not appreciate that. They don't want you to be shaped by other companies. For the first job, you have no experiences, everybody knows that. What gets you the job? Good attitude, courage. Do not escape from request. I had students, male students, interview for coach, the coach, right, the back. But his family background, now he's a chef, a very interesting guy. So he went for the coach interview with another hundreds of applicants. This is an American company that benefits so well. They have 3 stages of interview. First stage, coach said, without telling them in advance, you have to give me 20 minutes of self-introduction in English. Then half of the applicants ran away. He stayed. They said, why did you stay? He said, why is it you will have classes in English? I'm not very good at English, but I can talk for 20 minutes. I just went there and talked for 20 minutes. So even if his content was not prepared, of course they gave some time to prepare, but then he was brave enough to take that, because half of them are gone, right? You only have another 50 or something to fight against. Then he stayed for the first, and then he passed the first round. And the second round, they have other activities that work together as a team, observe all the other applicants about their pros and cons. At the end is, I think, something about if you more like a scenarios type of questions. So at the end, only 7 people got hired. 3 of them are from YZU. Somehow you guys are not afraid of anything. That's why they keep staying. So you can. What I learned from those experiences shared by my students, they are brave enough to stay. They are brave enough to try everything. So YZU students are not afraid of things, at least in my opinions. You can say that you guys are very naive, so you're not afraid. But then look at the outcome. You are afraid of 20 minutes English self-introduction, then you ran away. But why don't you try to stay, see whether the 20 minutes is really counted and whether you can manage for 20 minutes keep talking, right? Why do you stay in college? Why do you stay here? A lot of resources, why don't you use them? So not all the companies will give you that kind of questions, but then are you brave enough? Once they're throwing things, I take it and I do my best. All the managers want employees to have the right attitude. When I give you jobs, you don't run away. You try to solve the problems. But then do they expect you to give out so-called right solutions and interviews? No. Those things are not real questions, not real problems. They only expect to see whether you have the right attitudes for the job. So especially for your first job, I will strongly suggest show the positive attitude. If you don't know things, don't fake it, don't lie. But also do not be too naive about things. I was so stupid when I interviewed for my first business school professor job, and I didn't do my homework. That's really bad. Really, it's all my fault. The one day in Penn State, he asked me, so how much, what's your expected salary? And I thought, oh, in the States, because when I was a grad student, I was only paid $900 per month. And I said, okay, annually, you can pay me $40,000, it's good enough. And that thing was laughing. Dean said, do you know in the business schools in the States, the starting salary is $85,000.